Welcome to the Reinventing Mark Clark podcast. I am your host, Mark Clark. This episode actually was recorded live for our Motivating Monday event, which we have each Monday at the House of Chiefs, 4603 York Road in Baltimore. It really is about family. It's about support. It's about cooperative economics. It's about reminding people of their greatness. And this episode features April Watts, who reminded us all of our greatness. She is an amazing communicator. She's a media superstar. She's an entrepreneur. She's a thought leader, and she's just great. I'm sure you enjoy this episode. Make sure you follow, like, and share, and tell everybody about the podcast. Let's say when the bank account ain't quite right, you have to be careful because you start to get into this kind of like hopeless mindset. It'll creep up on you, right? Your energy will be, oh, well, people talking about vacation. I can't afford this. And so you have to, I think even seeing Daryl, hearing Ertha's testimony, I'm really making myself expand my mindset. You know what I'm saying? I'm not Mr. Join something to make $1 million, but why not me? Why shouldn't I not be a millionaire? Why shouldn't I not be a millionaire? Why not me? Travel. I want to go to Egypt. I want to go to Africa. I want to go on your trip. Why not me? I want to go to Tanzania. It's like you have to get out of the mindset. I think one of the things about social media is you got to be careful because you following Jay-Z and Beyonce's life, but you're checking out of your own life. You know what I'm saying? You be like, well, damn. He just bought this. She just bought that. They're traveling to this. Did you see that video? What about your own video? What about making something happen for you? And it doesn't even have to be in another country. It could just be getting in the car and going somewhere beautiful. I do those hits in the morning. I could do the hits in the morning. And down at the harbor the other day, I saw this, again, I'm doing the hit in the morning. It's 7 in the morning. I see this sister with a dog get on her boat, just like George. I thought George was the only one downtown on the boat. Sister rolled up with a dog and a boat, two things that I didn't think was possible. She was probably 32 years old with a dog. I was like, damn, they're doing it down like this. And if you go to the harbor at 7 o'clock, it ain't just the squeegee boys. It's white people running around with dogs. And it's so crowded, you gotta move out the way. But you never see that view of Baltimore. You never see that shot. On Fox 45, you never see a shot of the inner harbor at 7 o'clock with people frolicking on the water. Instead, you just see the negative aspects. And so sometimes our life is the same way. We get in these doldrums, we get down. So always try to just expand. So that's why I'm so excited when come on up, April Watts, give it up for April Watts. When April agreed to come on down, and see, this is what's happening at this event on Mondays. Ertha is doing this, and people are seeing names and coming out and like, wait a minute. You said March Funeral Home was in the building? Wait a minute now. Yes. Now hold up now. Now wait a minute. Now you just saying now April Watts came down? Yes, it wasn't a party. We ain't popping bottles. We really are. It's like family. It's like community. It's like focusing on some positive energy. And it's not just us, it's you. And so again, it's not about me. I'm just trying to spur the conversation. But again, like tonight, if you want to say a few words, April's going to share with us what's going on. Others can do the same, but you feel free to do that too. If you're that person that, I don't like talking in front of people, I don't like da-da-da, open your mind, push yourself. This is family, get comfortable. So basically, Ertha has a radio show on Saturday. I have a podcast at any time, like right now I'm recording this, and I run it on different platforms, and then I have the TV show. So again, some of you who I have your information who've been a couple times, we're going to start getting the schedule of the podcast and the TV show stuff. Some have been on already. So that's what this is. It's about us growing each other, and it's not about, it's not a superstar thing. It's about us expanding our minds, building on what we want to do. So let me say, April Watts is a dynamic media and more personality. As somebody who is a elder in the game, elder statesman, I was told when I was in New York. I'm like, damn, I'm an elder statesman now? I watched April come in like a breeze of positivity on the radio.
Thank you.
April has bigger balls than I do. from a standpoint of when she got treated a certain way in the industry, she said, no, I'm not going to do this. I can do this I can do bad by myself. Mm-hmm. Actually, no, I can be great by myself.
Yes.
And this is the mistake that a lot of us in media, the platform seduces you. It's just like corporate America. Mm-hmm. The platform seduces you. The benefits, the this, the that. And so what happens is when they pull the rug from underneath you, you're just stranded and stuck. Mm-hmm. But you get smart. You said, no, I'm not going to be in that position. I know it's going to be a struggle, but I'm going to bet on me. Mm-hmm. And so now we see you have your own eyewear line. We see you doing trips. We see you doing coaching. And you're inspiring us. And here's the thing that's so funny. You're inspiring those of us who are older than you in the game because
that's awesome.
You did something that many of us are still trying to do. And so, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, April Watts is in the building.
Hey. Uh-oh. I might have to stand up.
Here, you can switch.
Doing a little shuffle here. All right, guys, my name is April Watts, and just to tell you a little bit about me, because you may know me from the radio, and you may have seen me out and about, and I'm always authentic, but you may not know me. You may not know my story. You may not know my background and my spirit. People think I'm from Baltimore because when I came to town, I just ingratiated myself with you guys. I am originally from Washington, D.C., and I was raised in a part of Washington, D.C. that is like, I guess, equivalent to Cherry Hill here or something like that. Martin Luther King Avenue, Ward 8, D.C., highest infant mortality, lowest education, highest murder rate, all of that good stuff. Like back in the day before Uber, when you would have to catch a taxi, I would hop in the taxis. I lived in far Southwest. Like in D.C., there are two parts of Southwest. Far Southwest is like in between Maryland and Southeast D.C. You know so geographically, it's Southeast. And I would hop in the taxi and say, I'm going to Southwest, because I knew that would get me in the taxi. I would get in the taxi and they say, where are you going? Martin Luther King Avenue. Oh, I'm not going to Southeast. I'm not going to Southeast. So I tell people I claim both Southwest and Southeast, only because the taxi drivers told me it was Southeast, okay? But my mother, I was raised in a single parent family, and my mother was a stickler for education. She did not play with me. I only went to one neighborhood school, and that was my elementary school, because it was close to Bowling Air Force Base and the Naval Base. So my entire life, even though I was this little nappy-headed black girl, I have always been exposed to many cultures. I had best friends who were white and Italian and Asian, and I would spend the night at their houses on the weekends at Bowling Air Force Base, and they would come to the hood and spend the night at my house too. So I never operated in a spirit of fear. I never felt like I didn't belong in certain spaces. I never felt like anybody was better than me. But my mother also told me, you are no better than anyone else. So I felt comfortable with President Barack Obama. I felt comfortable with the janitor and everybody in between. And that has allowed me to navigate various spaces in my life. I went to college in Claremont, California, at a place called Pitzer. Some of you may have heard of like Harvey Mudd, Pomona, Scripps, Claremont McKenna. They are some very prestigious, predominantly white colleges. And I've always been a free spirit. I chose my college. Please, if you are young and you were in here, please do not do what I did. But I applied to Spelman, American University, Antioch College, because I loved Eleanor Holmes Norton, and she went to Antioch College. And then my counselor suggested that I try Pitzer College because she knew my personality and my energy. And Spelman didn't give me no money. So I was like, I'm gonna need some money. I got a scholarship at American University. I didn't want to go to American University because it was in DC. I was like, I went to high school right across the street from Howard. So why would I want to go to Howard University? I feel like I've already been there. And I was like, I want an adventure. And so I literally chose my college, Yellow Springs, Ohio, Claremont, California. Yellow Springs, Ohio, LA County. I'm going to California. And that's it. But it happened to be a very good college. And I got exposed to a lot of different people, a lot of different situations. I got a great education. But the biggest thing that I learned when I was out there, for sure, that nobody was better than me. And I was no better than anybody else. I was in class with like top executives' children, and they were not that smart. And I was like, they dumb. Like, it's politically incorrect, but it's the truth. And what I learned is, coming from where I came from and having the experience that I had, not only in books, but as far as like the common knowledge, the common sense, and that mother wit and the street education, I called my mom and I said, I've never been so proud and happy to be black and poor in all of my life, because these people have problems that I can't relate to. These people have insecurities that doesn't even make sense to me, you know? So I feel like everything in this society and everything in this world makes us feel like we are at a disadvantage when we're the ones with the advantage. It's all a head game. They are psyching us out to believe that we aren't the boldest, we aren't brilliant, we aren't intelligent, we aren't strong, we aren't powerful. We generate the most wealth for other people. So why not generate the wealth for yourself? We spend the most money. Black women and hair care products, come on. I would love to open a beauty and barber salon supply store, you know? So we are the ones with the power, but we relinquish it because we believe the lies that are told to us. And fortunately, I was blessed to be born to my mother, rest in peace, Mary Watts. She was the one who instilled all of this stuff in me from the time that I was a child. And so I always felt like I could do anything. If I want to fly, I'm going to tell you a secret. I'm not supposed to tell anybody because my mentor told me don't tell anybody. I grew up stuttering. When I was a child in elementary school, I would, it was bad. I had speech therapy. And my mentor said, don't ever tell anybody that, because then people will try to listen hard to hear you stammer or to hear you stutter. I don't care because God orders my steps. Nobody cares from you. But to go from stuttering to talking for a living? Come on. What? So I went to that fancy college out on the West Coast, and I was about to be walked into a PhD program in anthropology at the University of Texas in Austin. Didn't have to take the GRE, didn't have to take any of that stuff. They were just gonna walk me through the program. And I was like, I always wanted to do radio. I'm young, I think I'll go home and try radio. My mom almost lost her mind. She was like, you wanna do what? You went to those white people's college and all that money was spent, even though I got most of my money to go there, but she did spend some money. And so for a black person of regular earnings, that was a lot of money at the time. And she was like, and you come home and say you want to do radio, but I did it. I'm going to try to make this story short to get us to where we are right now. I had no experience. There is a radio station in Washington, D.C. called WPFW 89.3 FM. It's a nonprofit radio station, almost 100% donor-backed. And I don't mean underwriting, I don't mean corporate sponsors, I mean they do fund drives 3 times. Well, it used to be 3 times a year, now it's several times more. But when I was there, I was under Lou Hankins, who was one of the most brilliant people that I've ever met in my life. But I sent them a resume. Had no experience in radio, but I was like, I'm gonna get on somebody's radio. Sent them a resume, 2 weeks went by and they hadn't called me back. So I called and I spoke to the receptionist. And I was like, yeah, I sent the resume, but I haven't heard anything. And she goes, oh, they'll get back to you. That wasn't good enough for me. So I said, somebody needs to see me. I physically went up to WPFW. I'm gonna tell you a secret. Wherever you go, and I love receptionists, please don't get angry at me, but receptionists sometimes are like gatekeepers. They are the gargoyles who guard the door. And they may be frustrated because they may not be where they want to be in their lives. And if you're doing something in entertainment, 10 times out of 10, the receptionist really wants to be on the air. Everybody at the radio station wants to be on the air. I don't care. The program director want to be on the air. The salespeople want to be on the air. Everybody really deep down inside wants to be on the air.
That's true.
And I was talking to her, and she was giving me the runaround, but God had the music director who was behind at the copy machine, but I couldn't see her, but she could hear me. And she stepped out and she looked at me and she said, wait a minute, you need to meet somebody. And she walked me to the program director, and he was like, who are you? I'm April Watts. Where are you from? Because I came from California, but I had the Southwest DC accent mixed with the California Valley girl. And he was like, what language are you speaking? What is your problem? And who are you? What do you want to learn? I said, everything. And he was like, what do you mean everything? I said, everything from the creative to the administrative aspects of radio. I want to learn it. He said, I'll tell you what, you could come one day a week, every Wednesday. At the time, I was working at Diamond Cab Company, who didn't even pick up black people. But I said, I'm going to be on the radio, so I need to practice my articulation, my enunciation, and I need to speak to all of these fancy white people to practice for when I'm going to be on the radio. He let me in that door on a Wednesday. I showed up every day. I quit my job, and I showed up every day. Don't be as crazy as me, because times are different. So, you know, I wouldn't say do that now, but at the time, it worked for me. And he said, you can't show up every day. And I said, you need me. And I'm very perceptive, so I paid attention to him. Very brilliant, very talented. At the time that he was the program director, it was WPFW's golden era. We would literally raise $1 million a year off of people calling up and pledging.
Wow.
And it was largely due to his fundraising and his knowledge. He brought in Candy Shannon and Bobby Bennett and Robin Holden and all of those radio people. So I noticed something, though. I believe that he may have been dyslexic. He could not spell for jack. And I was like, writing is my strong suit. I can write, I can type, I can spell. I said, you will never write another thing again. And I became his assistant and took dictation. And then, so I got on the radio for my midday jazz program. But then when the budget opened up, I became his assistant. Then the budget opened up in development. So I was getting paid as the development assistant, the programming assistant, and because WPFW is a nonprofit radio station, I was a volunteer on-air personality. And then it went from there. I ended up at Radio 1, and I was a board operator, and I was so frustrated. I was a board operator for a year. And I was used to a certain standard at WPFW because Lou was one of those old school dogs. The studio had to be clean. Things had to be a certain way. And I like, what was her name? Imogene Stewart. Do you remember her? I was her board op in the mornings. And Imogene was my girl. But I was frustrated because the studio was dirty and I'm sitting here pushing buttons and I'm like, I'm an on-air personality. I can't take with so much more of this. And a year went by. Almost a year. And one day I was in that studio and I was so frustrated. And I just started breaking down crying. And I was talking to Mo Better Man. And he was like, don't worry, baby. Things are going to open up. Things are going to open up. And I was like, okay. Swear to God, the next week I got the opportunity to audition for the gospel. WYCB, 1340 AM. I got the midday at the gospel. Then I ended up on DC Magic as an overnight personality. Then I ended up midday on Magic. But they were doing this thing where they were like, you can be part-time until we get you your contract. And they were like, we're going to get you your contract for a whole year. And I'm knocking things out. The clients are loving me. I'm the salesperson's darling. They take me with them to close the deals. And then one day, I was told that Olivia Fox was going to come to middays, and they wanted me to do a segment on Olivia Fox's show, which used to be my show, and they wanted me to go back to overnights. And I said, God didn't promise me this. So at the time, I talked to my fiance about it, and I said, I don't want to do that because I feel that if I accept that they'll never give me more than that. And he was like, man, I got us. And so I politely went into the office and spoke to the program director. And I told her, I said, you know, thank you for the opportunity of a lifetime thus far. But I believe that the work I've done, I believe that my talent really deserves the middays here at Magic 102.3. And I said, and I also believe that if I accept anything less than middays at Magic 102.3, that I'll never have anything more than being pushed around and moved around. So I stepped away. I stepped away from radio for 3 years.
Wow.
I had my own business. I did a public access television show, a music show. I did another one that was like a lifestyle magazine. And then radio called me back 3 years later. So I went back to Radio 1 3 years later, ended up in Baltimore, and people said, Baltimore is not going to mess with you because Baltimore only messes with Baltimore. Baltimore, D.C. has this rivalry. And I said, watch this. And because I believe that real recognizes real. I believe that it's about energy. And radio has been very good to me. So I don't want you to think that I'm some bitter person telling you all the negative. I have done a lot in radio. I've been around a lot of wonderful people. I've gotten a lot of wonderful perks in radio. I've gotten to hone my skills, and I love people, so I've gotten to be around and connect with people through radio. I'm very grateful. I'm very thankful for that. So again, thank you, radio. Thank you, Radio 1. Thank you, Kathy Hughes. Radio has been very good to me, but I'm the kind of person that is fine as long as it makes sense. And when it stops making sense and it stops feeling good to my spirit, then I have to make a move. So God told me 2 years before I got fired that I needed to make a move. And things started happening to where I was more uncomfortable and more uncomfortable and more uncomfortable. Just disrespectful offers. And I was like, I'm not doing that for that much. I'm not doing that for that little. I'm 20 years in this game. I'm not doing it. So I became the problem person because I know my worth. So I knew that I had to go. I just needed to see the plan for myself. I would have left had I seen the plan. But as a person, yes, I'm college educated, but I didn't want to go be a teacher. You know, I wanted to figure out how to utilize my skills and do what I do, but do it for myself. And so I didn't see the way, but God had kept telling me, I got you. Just leave. I got you. And I wouldn't leave. I was stubborn. I was disobedient. So he put me in a situation where some people said I did something that I didn't do, that I would never do, that anybody who knows me and knows my reputation and my character knows that I would not do. But they called me in the conference room and they were like, well, we're going to let you go because you did this, this, and that. And I know they thought I was crazy because I smiled. And I was like, once again, thank you for the opportunity of a lifetime thus far. I was like, but I look forward to betting on myself. I said, but the one thing I will say before I leave here is I did not do what you said I did because my reputation really matters to me. And I left out of there smiling, and some of the sales people were like, girl, I had no clue because you walked out of there like a beauty queen, like smiles and waves. And when I left, I got happy. My spirit was lighter. It was lifted. And when I tell you, I got a call from a church to host something for them. And I'm a very honest person, so I was like, full disclosure, I'm not on the radio anymore. We don't care about the radio. We want you. I say, full disclosure, I love God, but I don't go to church. I don't like church. We don't care. We want you. And when I tell you from that day until right now, I have not chased a single thing. I've not chased a single opportunity. My gifts have made room for me. People have called me. Think about this. I don't know whether you guys, oh, thank you. And I don't want this conversation to sound braggadocious because it's not. I want it to be inspirational. I want you to know your worth and to never allow desperation or the need for the mic or the spotlight or the perks. And that's the thing. Like, I was prepared. Like, I feel like everything that has ever happened to me, everything I've ever been taught in my life prepared me for that next step. Lou Hankins used to tell me, it's a poor rat that only got but one hole. He was a countryman, right? He said, it's a poor rat that only got but one hole. So as much as you love radio, you better have other things going on so you don't make a decision out of desperation, because if you make a decision out of desperation, it's always going to be the wrong decision. So do radio because you love it, not because you're broke and you're desperate and you need that little bit of money that they're giving you. You know? And so my gifts made room for me. People have been calling, and I'm here.
Yeah, we called.
So I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit, and I've always known who I was because my mom told me who I was. So I came into radio grounded. So you could take the mic. Better yet, I'll give it to you, because that does not define who I am. I was Mary Watts' daughter before I came in this door. I'm going to be Mary Watts' daughter while I'm here. And if you so desire for me to leave, I will be Mary Watts' daughter as I leave. So once again, I'm not trying to sound braggadocious, but just last year, the mayor of Baltimore City chose me to be the face and the voice of the I-83 speed camera campaign. And of all the on-air personalities, because I'm still a media personality, of all the media personalities that he could have chosen in Baltimore, my little bald-headed black self, who does not have an official terrestrial radio station home, was on that billboard. That's God.
Come on now.
That's believing in yourself and taking a stand and not just accepting anything that someone gives you. And so with that happening, I got fired right before COVID. COVID hit, and I was making most of my money doing hosting and in the streets. And that stopped because the world shut down. And I said, I'm not asking anybody for nothing. Like, my goal was to not have to ask anybody for anything. I had prepared myself to go to work for Amazon if I had to. But I'm not going to ask anybody for anything, and I'm going to make it through this pandemic. I'm not getting put out. I'm not moving in with nobody. My car's not getting snatched. None of that. And BC and Apparel had already started to flourish with my hoodies and stuff while I was on the radio station. So I said, well, God gave me the vehicle. He said I'd take care of you, but the world and everything else had to shut down for me to be able to see it. And so I was at home. I focused on it. I had sweatshirts, lipstick, tote bags, all sorts of things. And literally, BC and Apparel paid all of my bills during the pandemic. My credit got better during the pandemic. My car is now paid off.
Okay.
But the sales got so heavy that I could not handle it all by myself. And I got to the point where I was like, please nobody order anything, because when the world opened back up, then I started doing other things. But literally, I keep saying this because it's true. Your gifts will make room for you, and you have to listen to the universe when it speaks. I don't care whether you believe in Jesus, Muhammad, Allah, whomever, or you're just a spiritual person. You have to listen. You have to be obedient. And so when people kept coming to me asking me, well, how do you get these gigs? Or how are you so confident? You have style. And I literally have marketed everything that people ask me about. I've marketed everything that people tell me that I'm good at. And for somebody looking from the outside in, she's all over the place. No, I'm not all over the place. I have multiple streams of income. Someone called me, and I told myself, I said, I want to start getting contracts with organizations because I'm really good at social media. And I just thought it to myself. November, I had a conversation. January, I had a contract with I Care Foundation, which is a grassroots nonprofit organization that is located, their headquarters is on Pennsylvania Avenue in Baltimore, and they have a headquarters in Anne Arundel County. And Rodney Carr, absolutely. Rodney Carr called me. He called me to have me host his gala. We had our spirits connected, the energy connected, the conversation flowed, and he said, I need you for more than this. And I said, well, how about I put together a couple of packages for you? And he said, how about you come see my facility? So I went to Anne Arundel County, I went to Pennsylvania Avenue, and I said, you need someone to manage your social media. And he was like, I want you as a spokesperson. I said, well, I'll do both. I'm not going to tell you what he's paying me, but I'm literally getting paid a salary for contract work, and I'm looking to get other contracts, and things are just falling in my lap because I'm obedient. And so you said what?
What's your fee?
I can't tell you my fee.
I mean, you know what to talk about later, you know.
I can't tell you my fee because it depends on
you. You're gonna.
But I don't have just a regular fee.
I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Check this. We already dealt with each other.
Okay.
And we
What's
met
your name?
Ryan Rooster, PJ Allen, and I want you a nice big gift.
Oh, wait a minute. You are the person with the skincare
Yes.
with your husband.
Yes, girl.
Awesome
I'm
sauce.
so proud of you.
Thank you. I am proud of you too.
Thank you. You know, young people can inspire us AARP.
That's right.
Hold up. But the AARP sent me an email and I was upset. I said, it's not time yet. It is not time yet. They're getting very aggressive. Okay? But I truly believe that I can do anything that I want to do in this world. It's just a matter of figuring out how. And it's a matter of waiting for the right time. It's a matter of waiting for all the pieces to collide and to make sense. And putting some elbow grease in there, doing some research, and getting it done. And sometimes you have to collaborate with people as well. I was getting hired to host all of these getaway trips. And I'm thinking, at the end of the day, these people are counting thousands of dollars. I got a free trip out of it and a few hundred, you know. I'm minimizing it. It was a few hundred. But still, they're counting way more money when I'm feeling like, okay, it's my brand that's bringing the people. It's the DJ's brand that's bringing the people. And I'm not disrespectful of others. I respect authority. I have no problem collaborating with people, but I also see what I bring to the table, and I'm okay with getting a little piece of that pie for myself as well. And I like to travel. And in radio, Mark can tell you, when you first start out and you're trying to establish yourself, you have to be the one that's handy. You have to always be around for when the other people take off. You can, literally, I made my way to where I got in radio because I never said no. I was always available. I don't care what time you call me. You could call me and say, I need you at the radio station in a half an hour. I'll be there with coal in my eye, a little bit of sleep right there, but I'm going to be there. And then after you get your position, it's such a competitive and such a backstabbing field that you're scared to take a vacation once you get to where you... Am I lying, Mark?
You're not.
Am I lying? You're sometimes scared to take a vacation because you'll be taking a vacation and they're auditioning your replacement while you're trying to get some fun and some sun. But I finally have felt like I got to a point in my career and in my talent and being confident in it that I was like, you know what? I'm going to start taking some vacations now. I deserve this.
Yeah.
But now I was like, I want to be able to market every aspect of my life. I like to travel. I want to travel. And so now I created the Travel Tribe. It's the Escape Travel Tribe. And you can find that on Facebook. Look for Escape Travel Tribe on Facebook. Join us. And I want us to go on various vacations. I want to get paid for a living. I want to live for a living. And so that's what I'm doing. I've done some trips. I went to Jamaica. We had one planned for Cancun. But I just believe that there's so much more than the regular. Why Miami? We've all been to Miami. All Jamaica out. I'm tired of Cancun. And I've never in my life been on a cruise. Because when I thought of cruises, I thought of the stigma of it's very regimented. And you have to do what they want, when they want you to do it. But I found Virgin Cruise Lines. And it's an all-adult cruise line. It's one of the best cruise lines in the world. Top-tier food, top-tier entertainment, top-tier rooms. And we are going to do a Virgin cruise. I'm calling it the Great Ocean Escape. We're leaving Miami. We are going to Cozumel and Playa del Carmen, and then we're going to the beach club at Bimini, Bahamas, and then we're going back to Miami. And it's a 5-day cruise from September 10th through the 15th. DJ Tons, who is one of my partners in crime, I'm hiring him to be on that boat so we can have a good soiree on the sea. I also have a friend who's going, and she's a yogi. So I've never done trap yoga. And so we're going to do trap yoga. It's going to be yoga with a little bit of urban twists. And we're also going to have a lot of other excursions planned for you guys. Everything's optional because I like things to be optional. Mm-hmm. You can hang with us as much as you like or as little as you like. But please don't miss the boat. We are going to have an amazing time. I want to do grown and sexy things. We're past the age of, I like to turn up every now and then. You know, but how about some nice, grown, sexy vacations? So we're going to do a cruise. We're not going to go to the common places. The next trip may be somewhere like South Africa. The next trip may be to Greece. Mm-hmm. Who knows? You know, and it doesn't have to be this mass group of people. We can start small and then attract like-minded, like-spirited people who want the same experiences as us. So we're about a month away from the deadline to pay for the trip. The deadline is May 14th. You have to pay by May 14th. But currently, you have until April 11th to get 45% off of the second sailor, which is, 2 people room together, but it'll be 45% off of the second person, and you guys split that down the middle, have a good time. You also get up to $600 in free drinks. And the way the cruise line works is all the food on the ship is free. All the soft drinks on the ship are free. But the alcoholic beverages are not free. But with this deal, if you make just your deposit by April the 11th, then you will get up to $600 in free drinks. I don't know about you, but I can't drink $600 in free drinks in 5 days. I just can't do it. And so I saw Ertha a couple of Fridays ago, and I told her about my trip. And she said she wanted to go because that was her birthday month. Oh, I was like, yes, girl, come. Get on the boat. And I was telling her that I would love to have some more people to come. And you know Ertha, she is very resourceful. She's very creative. She is very outgoing. Ertha is going to get it done, okay? And so Ertha said, I have an idea because I want to do trips, but I want to tell people how to make the money for the trip. And so here is Ertha. Come on, man. She's the mastermind.
Mm-hmm. Guys, it is so simple. Isn't it not so simple? Because this is what April missed out on the point. The people that know me, April, I go on cruises all the time, guys. They be like, yo, you on another trip, The key is you. When I told people when you go on vacation, the best thing about vacation is who you go on vacation with.
Yes.
So I've been on cruises before, and I know when I went on cruises before, all the people that will hit me up and say, oh, if I would love to go. The reason why I didn't even bother with it ain't got the money. How you gonna go on cruise? You ain't got the money. You holding me up. So I would just go. With the mark, I just go. And that's when I told you when I got into my residual income, I used that as an opportunity to travel because I knew if I'm being held back from a good idea, because I just don't have the money, then I got to face the truth. So what I told April, I said, April, guess what? I got a venue. So when you come and talk about this, if any of you guys want to go, and if money is your problem, we're going to kick that out the bucket because we will hold a fundraiser here. Check this out. I already called the lady. So I can tell y'all already.
I already called the lady.
I already called the lady today. So we just got to get.
The travel agent?
The travel agent.
Which is a black travel agent.
Yes. $300 and something. We should get like that. If I gave y'all 20 tickets, we do something this weekend, you sell it, keep the money, we put down the $300. You see what I'm saying? We do the next thing. Because you got to think how to get rid of something. Think yourself into stuff and not out of stuff, and you'll achieve stuff every day. If any of you guys want to go, let's tell me now. And just get the money and let's go. Everything is going to be here when you get back. You leave from the 10th to the 15th.
Yes, 10th to the 15th.
Doesn't matter.
All the problems, all the irritations.
All that. When you come back, you be like, okay, yeah. But if you do not plan to go, you're never going to go. Because the hardest thing somebody told me, and that's George Harris in the back, he said, it's the start that stops us. It's the start that stops you. You'll stop yourself and talk yourself out of it already. And it doesn't even have to be this particular trip. One of the things, April, that we have to do, which I'm trying to do, tell it to somebody else. Even if you don't want to go, somebody else might want to go. You can send somebody.
So what's the cost, Ertha?
You would have to call the travel agent because we started at one price. We started at 60% off the second sailor. And as time went on, the discount dwindled down. So it went from 60 to 55 to 50, and now we're at 45% off the second sailor. So I don't want to misquote the prices, but I will be more than happy to give you Nikki's information. She's ncmtravel@gmail.com. Where's my phone? Is my phone over there?
But the good thing about it is, even when you want to know the cost, what I'm saying to you, right now, it's less than $400 to put the deposit down on it. And when she told me, she said $3 something. But I thought, oh, you want me to pay? But if you do double occupancy, if you book tomorrow, that's only like, you split that. So
That's
$100
$150 for you,
and
$150
$150 for somebody else. So if you decide to go and just go ahead and put your deposit down, which is going to be $300 something, you split that. And let me tell you something. I'm not saying that we should just blindly, whatever the total is, but what I'm saying, whatever the total is, let's create a plan to get rid of it. I'm going to tell you, it's less than $2,000 for an individual if you get two people in the room. So if you need $2,000 by the time May come, which is, she said, next month, I can show you how to get that. And that's what you got to do, because one of the things that I want to do, and this is another idea. If you cannot go, remember she said she's developing a travel
tribe.
Get your money in some type of travel account. So when she comes up with the next idea, you don't mix the next idea. Because again, you guys are never going to go if you don't go. I've been to Dubai twice.
Yes, ma'am.
Twice. Once I went because I was supposed to go. The next one, my girlfriend Linda Felder twisted my arm and made me go. She was like, yeah, I'm with it. But the thing is that it's making me in the mindset that if I want to do something, I'm going to do it. Because if the only thing that I'm lacking is money, then I have to solve that problem. So what we got to do is we got to understand that the majority of us know that the way our lives are going now is that financial piece. It's never the creative piece. I love hearing your story because we all got the same story that she has. But what happens when you have that pressure of that finance on top of you, whether you can't afford to lose your job, whether you got to settle for less, whether you haven't achieved something, if you look at all those lists of things, it had an economic component to it. So if somebody can kick all that out of your way, just imagine what you can do. So when I saw April, I knew that we had the opportunity because, like she said, she has always been, I've known her as this kind-hearted. You can tell it by her voice, the way she was always in the community. She was not just a radio personality. When you would go to various community outreach things where people were trying to do good in the community, you would see April Watts over there talking, trying to get us the resources that we need for our communities and stuff like that. So I knew her passion. So when I saw you, I was like, now I would like to be on the ship with you, April. And then if you don't know DJ Tars, because we get on the floor.
Oh, we have a good time.
Right. So that's another one. So when we have to honor people like that, people that's teaming up with great people, and I'm sure she's going to have other people that go on the cruise with her. When we team up together, that's what I call tight-knit. You'll get on there, not only meet April and the people that she's bringing, but her people meet us. So when we come back home, we can can even do better because now we won't be so mad. We won't be up here howling, screaming, and protesting about the water bill. Oh, the water bill going up. You know, we won't be mad who's going to get elected or who's not going to get in the seat. All of those things are mental things that you have to say to yourself, what are you mad about? Because whoever's doing whatever we're mad about, they had that opportunity. I love people that reach their goal. If you want to be president, you became president, I say, good thing, Trump, you did what you want to do. If we want to beat Trump, we got to be at the mindset to beat him. So right now, I want us to enjoy this place. I want us to support April in 3 ways. I'm going to give y'all 3 ways. Everybody put out the information, please, about the cruise. Everybody. 2, everybody, if you cannot afford to go, make yourself a travel kitty somewhere. And then as we plan the things here, I'll help you raise the money to apply to your travel kitty. Mm-hmm. And then the third thing is what we're doing here. Keep coming here so we can find out how more we can connect to our resources. Mark is a genius. With this idea, this genius idea that Mark, I don't care what you said. Guys, this is a genius idea for this man, and April just said it. Me and Mark way older than that. For this man to say, hey, I will take all of my experience, bring it here to Tab Tighten It, create this media outlet that all of you guys who would never got exposed, would never get y'all information out, would never let nobody know who y'all are, to be on his podcast, right? Then he said, you're going to be on my radio show. And for those of you who have not watched him on Channel 11, he comes on Channel
Fox 45.
Fox 45, right? Mm-hmm. But what I also, if I'm not mistaken, hearing you and Mark say, but they're also building their independent platforms.
Yes.
So when we support this, if that rug is now pulled out of them, it don't matter. Because we still got ways to get out there, you know, like she said, that she has shea butter, that she has event that she's going on. Lou Fields is in the building. Yay for Lou Fields. That's the historian over there. But
I know that face.
you know, we are sitting in a room full of great people that never really had that type of exposure because we don't know how to connect to information like you and Mark has. So when people look at Baltimore City, they don't think that all of us are hanging on the corners, got drugs, whatever. Mm-hmm. We have people that's been fighting. Mama Edna, Grandma Edna back here, she's been doing this forever. You know, we have people in our community that don't be highlighted because of lack of connection to people like you and Mark that know that we should have been out there being exposed of what we should do.
Can I say something else, though? This is the opportunity for you to realize your power. Nobody can tell your story like you can tell your story. And we are now in a day and age where we are grateful to be here, but you don't need me or Mark or Fox 45 or whatever radio station to tell your story. All you need is your voice, some articulation, and a microphone. And get one of your media savvy, your social media savvy kids to help you set up your podcast and do it yourself. Not to say that networking isn't good, not to say that Mark's influence and his platform isn't bigger than yours right now, not to say that my network and my platform isn't bigger than yours right now, but the internet, social media is creating millionaires every single day. So tap into your own power as well. We are here to help you. We are resources, but I am so big on personal power and on self-empowerment because nobody's going to look out for you the way you are going to look out for yourself. Nobody is going to tell your story as accurately as you will tell your story. So think about your own voice. Think about your own tools, your own gifts, and your own resources, and then connect with others.
The elegant and very powerful April Watts. What a great woman and a great friend. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. If you did, please share it, like it, follow us. Reinventing Mark Clark, the podcast. Come out and see us on Monday nights. It's at the House of Chiefs, 4603 York Road in Baltimore. Motivating Monday. Shout out to Ertha Harris and the whole tight-knit community. We're building something special there, okay? And if you are a business owner, an entrepreneur, and you'd like to get involved and support Mark Clark Media, please do. email me at iammedia66 at gmail.com. Talk to you soon.